Hello people and welcome to this new class in where we are gonna do an exercise. In this exercise we will replicate this newspaper page and then we'll have to use a lot of the new skills that we have just learned and some others not studied yet, but we'll have to use it a little bit in order to complete the exercise. So first of all, I want you to open this document attached with the course. Next step will be to open a new file, new document, or Control or Command N. The size of our document will be A4, create. I will place it on my left and then let's go over window, arrange to up vertical. This way we can go to the exercise example or to our new document easily. I recommend you to go to our exercise and then click twice on the hand tool in order to center the page on the screen, and then we can always come back to our document just by clicking even once, not twice. So first of all, let's analyze a little bit the layout of this newspaper page. So one click on here, File, Document Setup. On this window I can check the page size, A4, the margins, and bleed and slack, right? We don't have bleed, we don't have slack, and margins are 20 millimeters on every dimension. Easy. So let's do it. File, Document Setup, and here margins 20. Then if I go again to my newspaper page and I go over pages, I have just one page, and on my parent page, if I go in, I have nothing. It is blank. So I can forget about the parent page for this exercise. Okay, then selection tool and one click on here. This way I can see the text box, right? Take in mind that we are working right now with this view mode on, preview, but I can change it easily to normal view, right? I can use the shortcut W as well. This is gonna be more handy because I can see at a glance all the text box, the margins, and so on. So let's work this way with this view normal mode on. Then if I select this text box, I can read up here the width and the height, right? The width is 170 millimeters and the height 35.5. So let's do it. Text tool, click and drag. I release here, selection tool, 170, and here we set 35.5. Enter. Let's go with the text. Double click, I place my marker on this text, and then I can read Times New Roman is the font, bold is the family, 12 point is the size, and 14.4 is the leading. Everything is in capital letters and the alignment is center. Right? What else? We have here a kind of underline, but when we check the character format, it's not on here. So it means that we are using a paragraph rule. If I hit here Ctrl Alt J, paragraph rules window pops up and we can see how the rule is on. Rule below, rule above is off. But rule below is on, weight 1 point, type solid with text offset 1 millimeter. Okay, so let's do it. I go to my page, Times New Roman, family bold, size 14, leading 14.4, align center, capital letters on my keyboard, don't believe any word. Then Ctrl Alt J, rule below on, weight 1, offset 1, preview on, width instead of column, text. Okay, then if I go to the newspaper page and I zoom in, we can check here this icon, this sign. This is the Pilcrow sign telling us that a new paragraph is coming in the next line, right? Remember, always when you are working in InDesign, go to Type, Show Hidden Characters. Shortcut Control or Command Alt I. Then let's go with this second sentence. Times New Roman, bold, 36 points, leading 43.2, align center. Okay, enter here. Let's write down the economy of the US. I select this sentence, size 36, leading was 43.2, not paragraph rule, so Ctrl Alt J and I turn off the paragraph rule. Okay, and that's all. let's continue with the next paragraph. I zoom out a little bit, I go in, and if I check the format, it is Times New Roman, italic this time, 12 points, 14.4, align, center. And the text is kind of fake text, right? Placeholder text. Okay, let's replicate it. Enter here. First of all, I'll go over type, show hidden characters. It was not on. Times New Roman instead of bold, italic. Size 12. Auto, leading 14.4 is correct. Then right click, fill with placeholder text. Okay, and we find like some differences, right? First of all, the previous title, the economy of the United States, is wider than in the original. So if I go to the original, I check that the horizontal scale is 78%, not 100%. I missed that. So let's do it. I select this sentence, and here I text down 78% horizontal scale. Here we are. Another thing, when I go to the original, to the main title, and I go to the paragraph controls, on here, on this section, space after, we have 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters space after the paragraph, right? So I go to my document, paragraph controls, and space after 1, 2, 3 millimeters. Nice. Going to the original, if I go to the character format controls, again we have 78% horizontal scale, so I can select all this paragraph and look, because some of this text is hidden, right? We learned that on these cases we could go over edit in story editor, and here we can check the hidden text marked by this vertical red line and erase it, right? Then we close this window, I select all this paragraph, and here I change the horizontal scale again, 78%. Okay, let's continue. Next paragraph. We have this bold text in 2 columns, right? I will zoom in and you can check it better. I will select the selection tool and select this text box, so you can see how here we have a text box separated in 2 columns. The text is Times New Roman, bold, 10 points, leading 12 points. Rest of the things, no changes. If I go to the paragraph formatting controls, no changes. Just this one. Justify with last line aligned left. This is talking about the justification and the last line, which is aligned to the left, right? Okay, what about the size of this text box? The size is 170 millimeters. The width, we know this already because it's from one margin to another, and the height 21.765. Okay, let's do it. Text box, here we are, selection tool, height 21.765. Enter. Then we need here 2 columns, right? So we have to use the tool called text frame options. Shortcut Control or Command B. Here, number of columns 2. The gather we still don't know for sure, but let's say okay. Then I go here, character, Times New Roman, family bold, size 10, leading 12. Paragraph, justify with last line aligned left. Then right click, place, fill with placeholder text. Zoom in, and if I don't like the composition of this text, I can change a little bit. When the Pilcrow sign appears, I can delete it. I can even include in the end few words, copy and paste. When I am happy, let's click twice on the hand tool so we can compare better, because we are working with the same zoom in both screens, in both documents. Then selection tool, I will check the position of my text box, reference point, upper left corner, 20 and 56.085 millimeters. I can even copy this measurement, go here and say Ctrl V. Paste, enter. Okay, let's continue. Now we have the main content of the article, and what I find here is that the document, a part of the margins, is divided into columns, right? These columns, drawn in these purple lines, will help us as a guides. So once I click my newspaper page, if I go over layout, margins and columns, here I can check the margins, we already know, 20 millimeters, and the columns. 3 columns gather 6 millimeters. Okay, so let's do it in our document. Layout, margins and columns. Number of columns 3, gather 6.5 millimeters. Okay, so now we have these guides. Guides for what? Guides for our next text box. So text tool, one click and drag. I go to the lower right corner, I release, and then Control or Command B, text frame options window pops up. Number of columns 3, gather 6.5. We can check the preview, it matches perfectly, and then OK. Then I can check the format of my text. Times New Roman, regular, 9 points, and this looks like automatic. Rest of the things, no changes. Paragraph formatting controls, justify with the last line align left, and 000. OK, so I go to my document, Times New Roman, regular, 9, and out. Paragraph, justify with last line align left, and then right click, fill with placeholder text. Selection tool, and here we are. Before going into the details, let's place this photo and this another text which works as a highlight. I will select first of all the photo and I will check the size, 52:46. The width we already have it because it goes from margin to margin. Talking about the height is 46.567. I can copy. Then I will choose this tool and click and drag. I go to high, Control V, enter. I have it already. Then it's time for another tool. The tool is called Text Wrap. One click, and here I want you to hit the second option, wrap around bounding box. One click on here, and to be more precise, we will need to increase that margin, that kind of offset around our image, our box, our rectangle. That offset could be top, could be bottom, could be left, could be right. We can unchain, and then we decide to use just this bottom offset. Rest 0. Then to place the photo, once I select my rectangle, File, Place, shortcut, Control or Command D. In the newspaper folder, there is another folder inside called Links. Once there, we have the photo called dinero, means money in Spanish. Open, and here we are. Once here, I can click twice, go inside the photo, zoom out, then look, because this is the frame of the photo. My rectangle is working as a mask, but the real size of the photo is this one in red. So I can make it a little bit smaller, holding Alt and Shift at the same time as I reduce the size of the frame. Then I keep the proportions and I keep the center. One click outside and more or less I have it, right? Okay, let's go with the highlights. This is another independent text box. If I go inside, the character formatting controls is like Times New Roman, bold, 14, automatic, and underline. Paragraph, align, center. Size of this text box, high, 53.667. I will copy this size, and then I go to my document, text box, click and drag outside. If I can't do it inside, then selection tool, and I move it inside my column. I change the size, I go to the high and Control V, enter. Text wrap, second option, wrap around bounding box. Bottom offset, let's say at least 6. Then once here, times, bold, 14. Paragraph, center. Right click, fill with placeholder text. I forgot the underline, and I can even include here some quotation marks. For doing this, right click, insert special character, quotation marks, double left quotation marks. Then I go to the end and I repeat the same process. Insert special character, quotation marks, double right quotation marks this time. I adjust the text a little bit, deleting one pilcrow sign, selection tool, one click outside, hand tool, and here we are. It is almost done. There are tiny differences, mainly in the size of the main content box, so I could adjust this. Then I should move the photo a little bit too, and the highlights too. On my original newspaper page, I have here like double Velcro sign. It doesn't make much sense in my opinion. So let's say that it is not necessary to copy that. But if you want to do it, just go inside the text next to a Velcro sign and then press enter again. Anyways, the exercise is completed. We learned, or better said, we used some tools that we haven't yet learned, but they are easy and intuitive, so I hope that it will help you to spread your knowledge. Anyways, we will see them deeper and deeper in the next classes. Time to say goodbye, and I hope to see you in the next chapter.